Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to start over anyway. Okay, so today we're doing fuel and movement mastery, how to fuel your body and master movement for strength, energy, and longevity. So this session's all about helping you feel confident, fueling your body, fitting movement into everyday life. As Kyla kind of just said, she got movement for 4 days this week, which is a win. But what she's really wanting to do is get that 7 days of movement, which is really going to help with reaching those goals that you're looking to reach. So we've tried everything. We've tried cutting calories. We've tried eating or adding more workouts. We've tried these quick fixes, these, special drinks. And to be honest, it doesn't stick. It doesn't work. And that's because those plans aren't built for longevity. A lot of times they're not built for busy women and, busy women that are trying to juggle all of the things. They're trying to juggle home life. They're trying to juggle work, family, just everything. And there's too much noise out there. So that's why we have this blueprint, so we can kind of cut out the noise and we can direct you in a lifestyle change and something that's sustainable that works in our busy lives. So today we're going to show you how to master two of the pillars in the blueprint, and that's fueling and movement. And you'll learn about how to hit your protein goals without overwhelm, and how to make activity part of your everyday, even when your schedule feels like it's maxed out. We gotta change that. There we go. Okay, so why does this matter? So women are often underfueled and overtrained. So this is what I was guilty of after my second child. So after I had Sutton, I got sucked into that toxic diet culture that's like, you need to have 1,200 calorie days and you need to work your butt off in a gym. So the two problems there: overtraining leads to injury. It leads to a lot of complications with your health. Underfueling just adds to that as well. So those are the two things that really are quite tragic, actually, in diet culture. So women are eating like birds and they're running themselves into the ground with cardio, and then they're still feeling stuck, or they're wondering why they don't have that energy. Maybe it's working for them because they're losing the weight that they wanted to, but they're also draining themselves and they're not able to function in their everyday life. So, it's your confidence that takes a hit. Muscle is more than just tone, it's your whole metabolic health. So when you're under eating protein and overstressing your body can't sustain that. So what the real secret is to build muscle. And as you build muscle, that's what keeps your metabolism humming. That's what's going to give you that steady energy, and it's going to help you age with grace. It's going to help you age better. It's going to help you age stronger. It's the difference between fighting with your body and working with it. And, I really want you to think of it this way. It's like dieting is like trying to run a car on fumes, right? You're trying to like get that last bit of you have no gas left. You're literally trying to get to that end point, but you have nothing in the tank. And that's what we don't want here. We want to learn how to fuel properly, and we want to learn how to get movement that's going to ultimately help us age better, help us age stronger, so that your body can actually perform. And we don't want to just perform now. We want to be able to perform in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? So your energy, your confidence, your longevity starts right here. So muscle is the organ of longevity. If you were at the if you're a Shaklee ambassador and you were at the conference that took place in Chicago, muscle we learned at from Gabrielle Lyons. She was incredible. If you have not heard of her, I highly recommend looking at her Instagram. She does have a book, but basically, muscle is the largest endocrine organ. So Gabrielle Lyons refers to muscle as the organ of longevity, but a lot of times we thought of muscle, or at least I thought of muscle, as something for athletes or bodybuilders, but it's way more than that. And that's why in the past I felt like I had to do cardio to get in shape, because I thought, well, if I do anything other than cardio, I will look bulky like a bodybuilder. But in reality, muscle is exactly what you need to be able to be metabolically active. So muscle actually acts like a hormone factory in your body. So for an example, after you eat carbs, muscle is what soaks up the glucose and uses it for energy. So if you don't have enough muscle, what happens to that glucose? Well, it gets stored as fat. So, you could be going and doing all this cardio exercising and cutting down, but if you don't have that muscle there, your body is not as effective as it could be. And what leads to that glucose being stored as fat is high blood sugar. Your blood sugar stays high, so that leads to cravings. That leads to energy crashes, and over time, it leads to a risk of diabetes. So if you think of it, the more muscle you have, the more protection. So think of your muscle like your body's retirement savings account. The more you build now, the better your quality of life is going to be as you age. So no one wants to be frail at 70. No one wants people, you want to be independent. And the work you do today is your retirement savings account. It's your retirement. It's what you put in today is going to affect how you are in 20, 30 years. And muscle is the key to that. It's like, I think I'm pretty good. So protecting against obesity. So the reason why having higher amounts of muscle would lead to obesity is because muscle burns calories. And as you get more muscle on your body, the more calories you're going to burn, the more metabolically active you're going to be. Sarcopenia is if you don't know that term, that is when it's frailty. It's the lack of muscle. It's the lack of being able to move, function in everyday life because your muscles are depleting. And the reason why Dr. Gabrielle Lyons feels like sarcopenia is going to be the new obesity, is going to be like the health problems of the future, is because right now people they're not valuing, they don't value building strong muscles. They value skinny. And so when you have something like the Ozempic and you have something like Wegovy, and I'm not saying if that's wrong. I'm not saying, if this is the choice that you're going to make medically. Each person is different, and you do what is best for you. But at the same time, you need to focus on building the muscle. You need to focus on fueling the muscles, because what those weight loss drugs do is they don't care where you take the mass from. They help you lose weight, but they'll take fat, they'll take muscle, they'll take all your muscle. And if you're not fueling your muscles properly and you're not exercising and resistance training to build those muscles, then that's where the sarcopenia comes into play, is that you lose all your mass and you're frail and you lose that muscle as well. And after we turn 30 and above, it gets harder and harder and harder to build more muscle. So the work has to start now. We have to build this muscle now. More muscle is better aging. Also, if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free. So we're going to go through some protein principles. And most women eat too little of protein each day. And you know what? It's likely due to a lack of education. I remember growing up, it wasn't a big emphasis on our plates. Like my mom always said, just a little bit of protein. You need some she always said you need protein, but it wasn't nearly as much as I consume now. Your goal should really be 1 gram of like that 1 gram of protein. Oh, wait a second. 1 gram. That's supposed to be, I changed that earlier because it was, I totally work in pounds. I changed that thing earlier because I looked at it and I was like, oh, anyway, it should be 1 gram per pound of body weight. That should be your ultimate goal and your ideal body weight. So, I am 150 pounds, 155. I kind of fluctuate in there. So I'm looking at 150 to 155 grams of protein each day. Um, it's the building block for muscle. Protein is the building block for muscle. And most women eat half of what they even actually need. So sometimes we even think we're eating protein and we're grabbing a slice of toast and peanut butter for breakfast, and it's like nowhere near enough. That's absolutely not fueling your body, fueling your muscles at all. Um, what you want to start looking at is about 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal, especially at the start of your day. If you can really front load your day with protein, that's fantastic because that's going to trigger muscle repair and it's going to trigger muscle growth. Leucine is extremely important because this is the building block that's going to help you build that muscle. And the great thing about our protein supplements is they're patented with leucine. So, our Life Shake has the leucine in there. Our Build protein is incredible. It's got 50% more leucine than any other whey products out there on the market. Very, very important that you're hitting that leucine threshold, 2.5 to 3 grams per meal. If you're looking at breakfast, I want to give you an example. 2 eggs are only going to give you about 12 grams of protein. So in the morning, if you're only having 2 eggs, you're getting 12 grams of protein. You have to somehow figure out how to bump that up to 40 grams of protein. We want to really front load our day. And that helps to alleviate that stress of, oh, I need it, eating, snacking, and, that sort of thing. Because if you start your day with 30 to 40 grams of protein, it sets your blood sugar up for the day. It gives you that energy so you don't have that energy crash. It's going to help eliminate your cravings so you stay on the right track all day. It's going to suppress your hunger. If you're not getting that 30 to 40 grams right first thing in the morning, 3 o'clock comes and you're like, I'm starving. But with front loading that protein, that helps you. That will help you tremendously. Now, does anybody you can put it in the chat. How do you, if you're already doing this in the morning, how do you get 30 to 40 grams of protein right away in the morning? I'll tell you what I do. There's kind of two options that I kind of bounce between. One, if I'm really in a rush, I do a shake. So I have 20 grams with my protein shake. Sometimes I'll do the Life Shake or sometimes I'll do Build. I get another 10 grams of collagen because I use the Shaklee collagen. So that it's a complete protein. So it gives me another 10 grams. I might add a little bit of Greek yogurt in there to boost up my shake again. So I'm getting almost 40 grams in that one shake alone. It is easy to hit that protein goal right first thing in the morning. The other thing that I might do is I use egg whites a lot of times because egg whites have a whole lot more, they're higher in protein because that yolk in an egg is more fat, whereas the egg whites is that protein content. So I'll do 2/3 cup of egg whites, which is 20 grams of protein. I'll add an extra egg in there. There's an extra 6 grams of protein. I'll add a little bit, a big dollop. I don't really measure it out because I'm too bit. So I add a big dollop of cottage cheese and there's another 10 grams of protein. So you can make an egg white. I throw all sorts of veggies in there. I just like throw them all in there. That's another way to get, your 30 to 40 grams of protein early on in the morning. So those two things that I do. If you have something that you like to do to hit that goal, just pop it in the chat. Let us kind of like learn off of each other. Suggestions are great. Okay. So kind of got into this a little bit the last slide, I guess, but that's okay. So we're looking for easy protein strategies. We want them to be simple, sustainable so that we can have success. So we anchor every meal around protein. So you ask yourself first, what's my protein for this meal? Okay, so it's lunchtime. What's my protein going to be? I'm going to have a chicken breast and I'm going to have some before you build the rest of your plate. So anchor everything around that protein first. Using supplements wisely. Shakes are my favorite mom hack. I can make a smoothie with a life shake in 2 minutes flat, right? And so it helps me hit my protein. It helps me hit my protein target. Batch cooking. So batch cook your lean protein. If you can have a protein source in your fridge all week long, like you make it on a Sunday and you batch your chicken, your turkey, maybe you prepare whatever you need for your eggs for the week, then you're set up for success. And I know sometimes it's hard to find that time on a Sunday or Saturday, but it's going to help you reach your goals when you're set up for success. Um, my husband and I do this together. We batch cook because well, now in the summertime we have 3 kids, but now it's hockey season. We have 5 kids in the house. And so if we don't have protein batch cooked, we're running out. So it's super key for busy households. And for snacks, instead of like if you really do need to snack, I know we're doing that 4 4 12 method, but as an if you're active, if you're an active person, sometimes you have to add those snacks in there. Instead of grabbing for chips or crackers, grab for something that's high in protein. So get that extra protein source in your Greek yogurt, your cottage cheese, or even jerky, just something that's going to boost up that protein and help you alleviate those cravings. The little shifts add up, and it does make hitting your protein goals a little bit more realistic, even with kids hanging off of you. I'm just going to check the chat to see how do you reheat your eggs if you batch cook them? Oh, in the microwave. My microwave is my savior. So if I batch cook some eggs, or what I might do is I might chop up all the veggies for the week, and then it's easy to grab and go. Like right now, I have a thing of veggies sitting in my fridge to just like throw into my omelet. Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder and then some berries. Yes, that's awesome. And if you really want to up the protein intake on that, add some hemp hearts on top or a little bit of chia seeds. That's going to get you your fiber. That's going to get you your carbs, and they all work together. And those hemp hearts are like very, very high in protein. Do, 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 do. Half cup of egg whites, amazing. 2 eggs. Greek yogurt and shake is great for the front load. It does. It is the Greek yogurt and the shake is great for the front load for sure. I batch cook chicken and beef meatballs on Saturdays, add broccoli and cauliflower on the side. I use hemp hearts or chia seeds. Perfect. Awesome. Great conversations. Okay. So, oopsies. I didn't mean to open up the chat so big. So,
Becky,
yeah.
Patty just had a question earlier about she's over 60. How will muscle building happen after you're 60?
We are actually going to go over that right now. It's going to be, I'll say, as you get older, it does get more challenging, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't start. So resistance training is going to be really important, really key, and I'll go over that in a few slides. And then increasing your protein intake even higher. Like if you really want to build muscle, go higher than that 1 gram per ideal body fat, or sorry, body fat, ideal body weight. But yeah, I'll go over some exercise stuff very, very soon. Okay, so we're doing exercise and insulin sensitivity. So what's really cool is exercise makes muscles more insulin sensitive. So basically, movement is your medicine for having a good blood sugar level, essentially. So one of my favorite hacks is going for a walk after meal. Research shows that even a 10 or 15-minute walk can lower your blood sugar by 30 to 50%, which is huge. And this is why it matters. So when you eat and then sit, your blood sugar spikes higher. Insulin has to work hard to get rid of the glucose that's in your blood, okay? Because that glucose is likely going to be stored as fat. Over time, those repeated spikes and crashes because of insulin resistance or it ends up being stored as fat. That's where you get the stubborn belly fat. So as you exercise, making your muscles more insulin sensitive means that they're going to need less insulin to be released to be able to use the glucose in your blood. Okay? When that happens, it means your muscles are more they're I want to say they're like functioning higher. They're able to use that glucose as energy at a higher rate, basically, is what ends up happening. And so instead of that glucose being stored as fat, now it's being used as energy, and you're not, it's not just sitting there, and it's not just going to parts of your body that you don't want them to. So basically, the less insulin that you need, you have less fat storage and you have fewer crashes. So this is why it helps protect against diabetes and metabolic disease. So insulin resistance is basically when your body isn't able to get rid of that glucose as quickly because your body isn't as metabolically, what is the word that I'm thinking about? Metabolically, not sound, metabolically. I'm having, anyway.
Inclined?
Yeah, I'm like, what's the word? There's an actual word for it. It's not coming to me, but even if you move around just a little bit, even if you walk around the block or you chase your kids, or, the other night I went for a walk on my treadmill for 20 minutes, then your muscles are using that glucose for fuel instead of just storing it after. And again, storing it as fat after. So you eat dinner, you lay on the couch, store belly fat. You eat dinner, you move around, the glucose is being used for energy. It's one of the simplest habits with the biggest payoff. So if you're thinking if you're sedentary at work and you're eating lunch, try and get up every 10, half an hour and do 10 squats. You can do that at your desk. You're sitting at your desk and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, you might look weird, but you start moving just a little bit, sit back down, put a little timer on. Okay, just got to move a little bit. Yeah, it might look weird, but maybe people will join in with you. Who knows? But get moving. It's the simplest payoffs. So movement mastery. Oh, movement after meals. Whoop. Oh man, I must have gone back into it. Got. No, I went backwards. Oh, maybe I just have this one on twice. Hold on. No. Okay, this is just kind of what I explained last time. So movement after meals. So walking after meals is going to lower your blood sugar 30 to 50%. Uh-oh, I hear people coming. Okay. It's because my notes got messed up and I did the other notes for this one. Anyway, okay. So I did say for this one, like, movement is like medicine, for your blood sugar. So when you strength train, which we'll go into, or do cardio, your muscles are going to be more sensitive to insulin, means your body needs less insulin to clear glucose from the blood. Perfect. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I covered all of that. Like exercise is like a daily tune-up for your metabolism. So movement after meals, it's going to lower your blood sugar. It's going to have less glucose spikes. When you're skipping the movement, you're going to have higher blood sugar swings. That's going to lead to more cravings. And then long term that's when you have your risk for insulin resistance, and cravings. So we want to make sure that we are moving a little bit. So movement mastery. Strength training should be your number one priority. And I will admit, this was never my priority in the past. I was always thinking that I needed to do HIIT, high intensity interval training, low weights, but getting my cardio up. Like that used to be my mentality. But strength training is the queen here. If you only have time for one workout, highly recommend that you make it strength training. And if there's anybody here that's interested in a workout program, I'll show you that at the very end. I've designed a workout program for you all, to be able to do that in the gym. I'm also working on one at home, but if you drop me your email, I will send that your way. But strength training is going to build your muscle, it's going to protect your bones, and it's going to keep your metabolism revving. When you add in zone 2 cardio, so that's your steady state, easy cardio, like a brisk walk or a bike ride, where you can still talk. So it's like you're able to walk and still be able to talk. You know, it's not a run where you're like, oh, okay, I can't talk anymore. We're not at that point. It's just the zone 2 cardio. This is going to build your aerobic base and support fat burning. A sprinkle of HIIT is great for efficiency, but this is short, intense bursts. But you don't have to overdo it. Too much HIIT can stress your hormones and it can backfire. But the key to HIIT is when you're doing that high intensity. And I do have in this workout program, I do have some sprint intervals. So that's moving at a pace that's as hard as you can for a short amount of time. There's incredible research out there how that is very helpful, very helpful for women, especially when they're trying to be metabolically, again, I don't know why I can't figure out that word that I'm looking for, but inclined is kind of what Kyla said. It can do some really great things, but don't forget NEAT, like non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So that's when all the movement you do is outside workouts. So that's happening outside of the workouts. That's like when you're just walking, that's when instead of taking the elevator, that's when you're taking the stairs. It's when you're playing with your kids. It's when you park farther away from the grocery store, so you have to walk farther. You guys, I'm the worst at this. I look for the closest available parking spot at my gym to then go into my gym and work out. Why am I not parking far away and just making myself walk that extra little bit? So that NEAT is just increasing all of those little things. It's gonna go away. Okay, so this is I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Dr. Stacy Sims, but I love her content because I'm sorry, I'll just we're gonna I love her content because she talks about how women are not small men. And most nutrition and training studies out there have been done on men. So, and then they're just applied to women. And that's why when I first got into the fitness, wellness, and fitness space, I would say even like 10 years ago, what was to be believed then is definitely not what the research out there shows today. And that's because for women, because everything that they found to work for men just didn't apply for women because physiologically, like we are different. So, for example, women do not thrive in fasted workouts. You know, if you get up in the morning to do your workout, you need energy. Your body does not function the same way as a man. So you need to fuel with a little bit of carbs and protein before your workout. And I used to be the worst at this. And here's the problem is when you don't fuel properly before a workout, what ends up happening is your body, first off, when you don't fuel, as a woman, your body is going to say, "Man, I don't have any food. I don't have any energy. I'm stressed." So first off, it's going to spike your cortisol. It spikes your cortisol. It's a hormone. It's going to spike your cortisol. That's the stress hormone. Secondly, your body's going to say, well, I got to get my energy from somewhere. And since you're putting me through this strainful work, this workout, I'm going to get my energy from most likely your muscle. So then it starts depleting your muscle because it needs energy somewhere. Now, the flip side of that is if you actually do fuel your body like you should before a workout, your body's going to say, I'm not stressed because I have energy here. I can tap into that glucose because you know what? My muscles are metabolically active. That's what I was looking for. My muscles are very metabolically active. I have increased my insulin sensitivity. I'm going to take that glucose right away and I'm going to use it as energy. Okay? That's what we need. As women, we need energy. So, yep, I got all that. Yep. So we need, and then post-workout, we need both protein and carbs. So if you're looking, if you're somebody that's like, no, I can't eat before I work out, A quick fix is like a little banana with a shake. Like even just one scoop of shake and a banana. Um, Toast with nut butter and like a protein. Just something that's going to give you some instant energy. Recommend eating about half an hour before at least. Um, but on the flip side of those things, recovery after a workout, we need. So, what ends up happening in a workout? Your resistance training, your muscle fibers are being ripped apart. Okay, it's good. They're little micro tears, and it's a good thing because when you're stressing your muscles, it's just going to like kind of rip your muscles apart a little bit. And then when you have protein, they're like the building blocks that are going to come in and it's going to repair that. That's why after a workout, we want to get that protein intake because we want to repair those muscles so that we can recover quicker. Carbs after a workout is something where okay, we want that carbs because we want that energy replaced. We just burned a whole bunch of glucose, right? We want to replace that glucose, that energy in our body so our body can function and be happy throughout the day. So our protein is going to make us um, feel fix our muscles. The carb is going to give us fuel. And then you add a little bit of fiber in there. It's going to make you feel fuller for longer. It's kind of all nice cohesive thing. Um, Cycle-based strategies. If you're still in your cycle, there are some things that you should be aware of when you're training. And one is in your follicular phase, you can push your intensity. So this is the phase of your cycle where you're like, I am feeling fabulous. So this is the day after your menstrual cycle finishes. You're like, I'm feeling fabulous. I have energy. This is where you can go for high intensity. This is where you might even like start to lift heavier because you're like, yes, you're going to hit your ovulation. You're going to be like, yes, I'm the strongest. This is amazing. Then you're going to hit your luteal phase and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that weight I was lifting last week, I can't lift it. Everything is over. I'm looking bloated. I'm gaining weight. I'm thirsty. I want more carbs. That's normal. And it's okay. This is the luteal phase of your cycle is when you're going to focus on you're going to focus more on recovery. You might slow down your sets a little bit. It's okay. You might need a little extra hydration. Drink up that water. You might need some extra protein during that stage too. So all of those just being aware, starting to, and everybody's different here. So there's no like cut or there's no cookie cutter solution. But if you can start to take into account your cycles and how you're feeling, then you're going to really be able to give yourself more grace, is how I see it. I'm like, I don't really change my training based on it, but I definitely give myself grace during those periods because I think, okay, it's okay if I don't have as much energy in my workouts during this time. My body is just telling me that it's a different time. And just because I can't do something I did last week, it's okay. It'll cycle back. It'll cycle back through. As long as I remain consistent, as long as I'm hitting my protein goals and I'm getting my movement in, it'll all be fine. It's okay that the scale goes up. It's okay, it all works out. Now, on the flip side of that, perimenopause and beyond. I'm not going to dive too deep into this because this is a topic on its own. And this is where muscle and protein become non-negotiable. So as we hit perimenopause and menopause and beyond, things start to shift. So estrogen drops, and with it, we lose muscle and we lose bone faster. And this is why women often feel like that their body is working against them, right? So this is why in their 40s and 50s it's like and 60s it's like, oh my gosh, my body is not doing anything for me. It's working against me. But here's the good news is that prioritizing strength training and proper protein can offset so much of this. You can absolutely build muscle. You can increase your metabolism. You can feel strong at any age, but it does have to start now. And it does mean you need to prioritize strength training. You need to prioritize strength training 2 or 3 times a week. Sleep and recovery is very, very important too. You can't just push harder. You need to feel smarter and recover better. And I think sometimes that's hard to do because you think I need to burn more calories, but if I could just if I would say anything, I would say like I don't really want people, yes, you burn if you're in a caloric deficit, yes, technically you're going to lose weight, but if you start to think of calories as something different, like, yeah, I could eat 500 calories of and have like, I don't know, 2 cookies, or I could eat, chicken breast, some rice, and a ton of veggies for 500 calories. Like, I think if, with the whole base blueprint, it's like you are going to fuel smarter, so you don't really have to worry about the caloric deficit, right? You don't have to worry as long as you're keeping your foods low G low glycemic, and you're fueling with that high protein. Like, I don't want you to get too caught up with calorie counting and things like that. You just need to fuel smarter and focus on strength training. Um, I love reminding women that it isn't about shrinking your body. It's not about shrinking your body. We're not prioritizing skinny here. We're prioritizing strong. And that's so that we're strengthening for decades to come. So fueling is absolutely critical for your hormones, your mood, your metabolism. Yeah, oh, I think somebody's coming back. Okay, so a few hacks. I'm sorry, PS, I'm a teacher. So when I do these things, I like deep dive into them. So I apologize when I talk too much. Um, so fuel and movement, these are hacks for busy days. So a smarter way to fuel your body even on the busiest days. Protein-rich breakfasts, we've already kind of talked about. Front load your protein. 10-minute exercise snacks. So what do I mean by that? I don't mean like a snack, like to eat. I mean, like, take a 10-minute exercise snack, like a tiny little movement uh, period in your daytime. So instead of sitting on your lunch break or your coffee break, maybe you take your coffee and you go for a walk around the block. There is so many excuses out there as to why you can't move. You just have to have the excuse that's stronger of why you should move, right? Habit stacking, that's, changing little habits here and there that are going to compile to make one big habit change. So maybe you start off just in the morning, I don't know, parking farther at the very end of the parking lot for work. And then that gets you a little extra movement. And then maybe, if you're somebody that skipped breakfast, maybe you're like, I have to have my protein shake in the morning. So I'm going to make it for that morning walk where I'm walking from the parking lot. But just making all these little micro changes that are going to build up to make a better lifestyle for you. Walks after meals, you know, start saying after dinner each evening, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to walk around the block, even 10 minutes and getting moving. That's going to help you. Consistency over perfection. I had a friend message me today and she said, she's a new mom. This will be her third. So she's got three under four, maybe 3 under 4 years old. And she messaged me. She showed me her shake today. She's like, I made a shake today. She messaged me again later and she said, I didn't do a great workout, but I got a little bit of something in. And I was like, you know what? A little bit of something is better than nothing at all. So don't strive for perfection. Life is never going to be perfect. It's always going to be messy. And if you can show up just consistently for yourself each and every day with these tiny little micro habits, it's going to just spiral. And it's that mindset shift. Your small wins daily are going to add up to big results. Okay, so some key takeaways, and then we'll go into questions very, very soon. So key takeaways, you're going to prioritize your muscle. It's your insurance policy for aging well. You're going to fuel with protein, 30 to 40 grams per meal, especially breakfast. We're going to front load our breakfast. Third, we're going to train smart. So again, I'm going to get you a resistance training program. It's not going to be, there's not all sorts of bells and whistles. It is basic strength training that, when done consistently, you will see results. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be all the oops and oopsie loops. No, basic strength training is just going to give you the results that you're looking for. It's going to build your muscles, and more movement throughout the day. And finally, just remember that you are, women need women specific strategies. So you deserve a plan that works with your physiology, not against it. And that's what we have here at the Blueprint. That's what we're doing. So these are just some results you can see with the BBB. You're going to feel the shift and see the changes. Want to remind you that this is a lifestyle change. It's not the quick fix that everybody promises you're going to get. It's something that you will achieve. You will achieve that fat loss. You will get the increased energy. You will decrease your cravings if you stick to the program and stay with it for, consistency. Like be consistent with it. This is what we're going for here. It's not something that we're looking to fix this week. It's something that we're looking to fix so that in 20 years from now, we are our strongest, healthiest versions of ourselves. So, my last word. I want you to fuel to thrive, move to live longer, and master. If you master both, you can change your health forever. You are the only one that can make this changes. And the question is that are you going to allow your excuses to be stronger than your drive for change? You will always have an excuse as to why you know, you make the choices that you do. There's always going to be an excuse as to why you didn't move that day. There's always going to be an excuse as to why you indulged in, I don't know, the cake and cookies and ice cream and that's okay to do too. It's okay to have those times. It's okay to indulge because we do want to make this a lifestyle change, but we don't want to make that our habit. If you make it a habit every single day in and day out, then those habits overtake the ones that overtake the healthy habits. So you just have to your drive for change just has to be stronger than your excuses, and only you can do that. Is there any questions? Do we have any questions? Do I have any more slides? Huh. Health isn't about what you do, it's who you become. I love that. Treats for special occasions. Of course, treats for special occasions. We all have to enjoy and indulge and have those times, but it's just what your daily habits that you're going to make that are really going to define the results that you get. Oh, repeat the line about the excuses. I said you're the only one that can make these changes. And I said the only question is, are you going to allow your excuses to be stronger than your drive for change? So essentially, if you want to achieve the goals you want to achieve, that desire to get to where you want to be has to be stronger than your excuses. You have to have more passion towards that than it is towards, having the martini or 5. What do you recommend if you find eating before working to be a challenge? I know you shouldn't work out fasted. So something small. What time do you normally work out, Charlotte? Um, just even getting something in your body, even if it's an apple. Or if that's too much volume, do a scoop of the shake. Do you do Energize? Jose's got a great little recipe where she just does scoops of vanilla, protein, and Energize. It's quite good. It's like kind of like a lemon meringue kind of drink at 5:30 after work most days. Oh, so if Charlotte, you've eaten by then. You've eaten throughout the day. This is more for my morning people that get up and just go work out. And then they're like trying to lift really heavy, but they don't have the energy to be able to fuel their bodies. But you would have been eating throughout the day. So you have that energy. You have your body's able to grab that glucose from your blood and use it as energy. Any other questions that we have? I love that being a woman is a roller coaster sometimes. Yes, it is. Oh, Jose, you love Stacy Sims too. I know she's amazing. I love HIIT, but have to make the mental switch to do strength training more often. Yes, you do. You know what? I'm seeing more results strength training, slow and heavy. And so when we're strength training, this is the other thing that a mistake a lot of, I'm going to say women make, because it used to be that aerobics and that sort of type thing was like high reps and low weights. No, 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 no. When you're strength training, I want you to do, around 8 reps. Okay. And so when you grab your weights by the 8th rep, if you are not like ugly face, like grunting to get that weight up, you're not heavy enough. If you can do a ninth, 10th, 11th rep, you're not heavy enough. You would surprise yourself at how heavy you actually can go. And when you go to max, like if I'm doing a row and I'm at my max and I've just maxed out at 8 and I got my ugly face on and I want to grunt. I don't, because I find that embarrassing. But if you got to grunt, got to grunt. But it's like your muscles are, that's how you're going to build your muscles. Okay, you're going to build your muscles by making them as tired as they possibly can, basically shredding those little micro tears in your muscles, because you're going so heavy, and then you're going to repair it with protein, and then you're going to do it again the next week, and then you're going to repair it with protein, and then the next week you're going to be like, wow, I can go heavier. And then you're going to keep doing that. And because you're doing the same consistent program, we're not bouncing all around. That's the other thing people like to do. They like to bounce to this. I go to Pilates, I do this, I do this, I do this. I'm like, no, stick to one plan, lift heavy, and do it consistently for 6 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, the weight you're lifting at week 1 is, if you're going heavy as you can by rep 8, by week 6, you're increasing your weight drastically. You are going to be a lot stronger than you were. But that's the key. And I'm seeing way more results by doing that than I ever did by doing exhausted on the floor HIIT training or high reps. And you just trust me, if you're looking to build muscle, that is what you want to do. And I mean, sprinkle in all those other little things too. If you like Pilates, sprinkle in a Pilates. If you like yoga, sprinkle in a yoga for your mobility day. All that stuff is great. It's still movement, it's still active, but 100%, if you're looking to be stronger in 20, 30 years, you need to lift weights. Steady state cardio with strength training. How do you pair it together? So you don't have to necessarily pair the steady state with strength training. It could just be, steady state could just be going for a walk at some point. Um, so when I personally go to the gym, I just do a certain workout that's like heavy weights. I might do like a glute lower body focus where I'm just doing heavy weights, deadlifts, thrusts, single leg squats. And then later I might just go for a walk or something. I don't necessarily put it all in together. But also sometimes you can get some, if I do have a cardio day, that's very effective, and a conditioning day in this program that I made, and you can get a little steady state in there too. But just going for a walk is steady state. Is it better to focus on just a couple areas of the body each day or do a whole body every day? So that kind of depends on how many days of strength training you're doing. If you're just doing 3 days a week, you could be doing a full body each time, because you have like that, you're only doing 3 a week. If you're going 6 days a week, or even 5 days a week, like I would do 2 lower body days, 2 upper body days. When I'm going really heavy on my legs, like I need a day, I need some time to recover. So take that time to recover for sure. But there's different programs, and it just depends on how often you want to work out. Um, and how fast you want to achieve your goals. But yeah, so I typically focus on one or the other. It used to be old school. It used to be like you only did legs one day, and then you only did back, and then you only did arms, and then you only did core, and then it was very segregated, but there's a little bit more mixing in programs now, especially like with compound movements. So you're getting a little bit more of more comprehensive, using more muscle groups than just like isolating them at one. So the program that I designed has a little bit more compound movements. So you're using more than you're not isolating certain muscles. You're using a lot more so that you're stimulating a lot more muscles and strengthening a lot more muscles at one time. Any more questions? Doesn't sound like it. No problem, Charlotte. It's a good reminder of things I know, but sometimes forget. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you do forget little things that you're like, oh, I should do better at that. Or, yeah. You're welcome, Heidi. I'm going to stop recording so people don't have to watch this.